Hello there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Carrie Rhodes here. Today I am sharing a close-up look at the Spellbinders Glimmer Kit of the month for October 2021. This is a gorgeous fall-themed glimmer kit with coordinating dies. It's the Glimmering Autumn Woods set with 15 pieces. You can see the dies on the left and the glimmer plates on the right. I'm going to show you all of the plates hot foiled today. This kit does come with copper foil and it's gorgeous. I am going to be using some ultra smooth white cardstock from Heavy Doodle. I like this cardstock for foiling and for using water brush pens, which I will be doing today. All right, I'm going to use my quick trimmer to trim out some foil for glimmering today. Now, I like the quick trimmer because I get a nice, clean, straight edge and I can cut super small strips without getting a jagged edge that you can get sometimes with scissors. Now, I decided to cut this down a little bit more I saved that skinny strip that I cut off because it's the perfect size for the sentiment. And then I went ahead and cut it in half again. I'm going to do all of these dies, all 5 of them, twice for today's card. So I thought I would do them all at once and then again do the whole set all at once. You can see I have my foil pretty side up onto my paper and the plates pretty side down on top of the foil. I'm taping everything in place with some low-tack tape and putting the whole thing face down onto my prepared and hot Glimmer hot foil system. I'm using the spacer pads that come with it as well as a shim. And now I press the timer button. That takes about a minute. When the timer stops blinking, you're going to remove the entire stack. I use my thumbs and just pull straight back towards me. I run it through my my die cutting machine very slowly. And then I use this magnetic tool to pick up the whole thing because it will be hot now. And then you can remove the low-tack tape and peel back the foil. And there you have your glimmered images, and they are so beautiful. I'm doing my coloring today with my Arteza Real Brush markers. You can see these color great on ultra smooth paper like Bristol Smooth or this Heavy Doodle white cardstock. I do find they blend out a little bit more with water or a blending pen on the Bristol Smooth than they do on the Heavy Doodle, but they work really good when you blend them together. So use a dark marker and a light marker and blend them together, which is what I'm going to be doing on most of my coloring. I will have all of the colors that I used in the description box below, but the Arteza pens come in sets. I believe there's a 24, 46, and 92 set. I'll have them linked for you below in case you're interested in these pens. But if you like simple coloring, these are really good. They give you kind of the look of watercolor. Like I said, you can blend the markers together. You can blend them with a blending pen. Like this is a marker with no color in it. Or you can blend them with water. They work really good on watercolor paper too, but picking paper is super important when you're using these pens or the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, which are very similar, because they need a very smooth surface. So if you found when using pens like these that you're not getting good results, it's not you, it's probably the paper. Bristol Smooth is the best paper I have found for these markers. This Heavy Doodle white is the second best. So there's 2 different options for you. If you like watercoloring, you can do that too, especially if you're going to blend these out with water. But here I'm mostly blending them with each other, and I like that bold, vibrant look that I get. I also like to color the markers on my glass mat, pick up a little bit of that with my blending pen, and then I'm able to get a really light color, but a little bit more than if you use the blending pen by itself right on the markers. So yeah, I really like these pens. I enjoy using them. The result is always beautiful. So I highly recommend them. And if you're new to using them and have any questions, please let me know. So you can just see the coloring that I'm doing here in very rich fall colors. All the leaves are changing here where I am in Idaho, and I love it. I think the trees are so beautiful right now. I want to stop and take pictures everywhere I go. So that's kind of what inspired the colors that I chose today. And I am really loving this glimmer set. I love all things woodland, acorns, mushrooms. I love it all. So I think it's really fun and a lot of different things you can do with this set, especially because it also comes with dies. I love that. And there's a few dies in this glimmer set that are additional. They don't just cut out the glimmer images, but they also cut out like a little branch and some extra flowers and some leaves. So I love that they give you that to go with the glimmer plates. And there's also a sentiment you can glimmer. All right, so I have the other set that I foiled, and I'm just going to show you really quick this mushroom cap because it's different than the other one. And I did color the leaves the opposite color, so I had an orange leaf and a yellow leaf in the opposite shape of leaf. So I'm just giving a little bit of variety, but mostly sticking with those same colors. I really love the underside of this mushroom where it's dark at the center and gets lighter out towards the edge. And there's just so many ways you could color these mushrooms depending on, you know, the look that you're going for. And you could really go bright and have some fun with them too. All right, so there's my images. I just took a little paper towel to try and get any excess marker that might be on top of the foiling. But there you can see, gorgeous. Now I did go a little bit out of the lines on some of my coloring, but that doesn't matter on these because the die is going to cut away a lot of the outline on these. You can see them here, and there's no excess white space unless I didn't get the die on there perfectly straight. And that happened, but it's okay. So I am making an A7 size card, which is 5 by 7. So this panel is a little bit smaller than that at 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. I kind of laid out where I thought most of the things would go, and then I'm taking that little branch die and I'm going to die cut this out a few times on my paper just to give a little bit something different where the branch will be die cut out and the color will come from behind. Now this is the die that cuts out the little flowers that go at the end of this branch, and it also cuts out a flower that will layer on top of the flower I glimmer hot foiled. So that's cool. I'll show you how that works. But first I felt like my background needed more. So I got out my metallic watercolors. I went for the darkest green so I'd kind of have a tone on tone look for my spotter, but still that shiny metallic. And then I'm going to go around the edge once that watercolor is all dry with my Distress Oxide ink and black soot. It really helps draw your eye in. Now I glued down all the things, but I felt like I really wanted 3 branches. So I ran that through my die machine with a 3rd branch. And now I am going to add all the little flowers to that. Because my branch is die cut from my paper, I'm going to nestle those flowers right onto that little branch. But you'll see another way to do that if you're going to use the actual die cut of the branch. That's going to be on the inside of my card. So at the end of the video, you can see the difference in that look. So I have 1 branch with red, 1 branch with orange, and 1 branch with yellow flowers. I also die cut out the little leaves. These leaves have veins that are pressed into them to give them detail. I like the look of tone on tone. So you have green cardstock with green leaves on it. It almost looks like the leaves are embossed on the paper, like dry embossed. So I'm just loving the different textures and dimensions on this card with how I played with the die cutting and how I laid out the botanicals on here. I love those botanical posters. My daughter's really into them that show the different plants and what they're called, and that kind of is what inspired me today. They're usually on a white background though, or like a cream colored background, and I did mine on green, but it's just fun to see all these beautiful botanicals on here for fall. All right, so I am mounting this onto a lighter green piece of cardstock. So the green branch is now coming from behind, and it has the texture of the leaves popping up and the little stems kind of go down. So here's that tiny strip of copper foil. I'm going to hot foil the sentiment onto that lighter green cardstock so it goes with the green that's behind those branches. And I'm putting that on my glimmer machine face down, adding my shims. Now with really thin sentiments like this, I don't always feel like I need a shim, but I always make sure I run it through very slowly in my machine so that I do not make it kind of jump, because if it jumps when you run it through, you could risk double foiling. So there's my little tip for you. So it says thankful for you, and I'm going to cut that out using my quick trimmer because there's also a blade on here for paper. I like to use some temporary adhesive to hold it down, and then I just use the grid on the mat and the lines of that cutting plate to get the width of my strip that I want. So I'm going to cut off the excess there on that left side, and I decided this would look best on my card if it was popped up. So I'm going to add some foam squares. I'm going to put it right across that mushroom. I think it's really cute to have your sentiment in the lower corner and just let the rest of the card shine like that. Now I wanted to pop this up a little bit, but it was a really big card. Remember, it's going to be a 5x7 card. So I took some scraps of my super heavyweight cardstock. This cardstock is 120 pound, so it's really thick, and I don't always have a great use for my scraps until this, where you use them as dimension. So it's not as thick as foam tape or foam squares, but it's going to give me enough lift on my card and be super sturdy. I put 2 layers of it, and it's a great use of those scraps, and I like the amount of lift that it gives off the card. I just mounted this onto a 7x10 piece of paper that I scored at 5 inches, the same color that I made on my background. But remember, I did the edge with the black soot, so that background edge is a little bit lighter, and I love that look. So I just added some gold gems. These ones are almost brown. They look great. All right, this is the clear stamp set of the month. Spellbinders has this available as a monthly kit you can get in the mail as well. And this month they started adding a die set that you can either get just the clear stamp set of the month, or you can get the clear stamp set of the month with the coordinating dies. It's so cool. So you pick which one you want. I heard the one with the dies has already sold out for this month. So if you like getting a coordinating die with yours, you should definitely look into that for next month. I'm going to have all of the kits that are available from Spellbinders linked for you down below, because they have a lot of different kits, and then they have like options you can bundle. Like I like the large die of the month, and I like the glimmer hot foil of the month, and you can combine and get more than one kit, and they come at once. That's a good savings, all of that. So I stamped Sending Heartfelt Thoughts in 2 shades of brown, and then you can see here how I glued the flowers to the back of the stem, and the green part of the stem goes up the bottom of that little petal. And I just glued that on the inside for a little extra something pretty. And this is another piece of that heavyweight cardstock because the front of my card was pretty heavy, so I wanted to balance that out with the inside of the card. Next, I decided to add a little bit of shadowing on the veins of those flowers with a kind of coordinating marker, and love is in the details. And I think this is just one of those details that's going to make those flowers pop, make them stand out even more, make them a little bit special. So there is my card. I love this Glimmer Hot Foil set. That mushroom makes me so happy. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I love sharing my creations with you. If you liked the video, you can always let me know by giving me a thumbs up. And of course, I love chatting with you. So leave me a comment below and let me know what your favorite season is. I'm enjoying fall right now, the cooler weather and the mushrooms, and we had rain today. It was just gorgeous. All right, thank you for stopping by. I'll see you all again very soon. Happy stamping. Bye.